Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Watcher of Realms video, and today we've got a special guest, probably one of the best players of this game currently, Fastidious. Dude, welcome to the channel. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for coming to our game. When you showed up in the game, it was like, all right, we've arrived. So
Yeah,
yeah,
nice.
great to have you here.
Honestly, I did a promotion for the game, and I was just like, I really, really love this game. It was absolutely something which I was looking for as an extra game to kind of get involved with. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's been awesome. It's been awesome, and what a ride. I think it's kind of fun. Maybe for people that don't know you, it'd be good to get a bit of an intro. But I do feel
absolutely.
like when I was playing Raid earlier on and doing content, like you're doing a lot of similar things to what I used to do in Raid, which is really cool to see. Actually,
It's almost like I watched your
yeah,
videos when you got started.
it's like, who's the takeover guy? Who's the guy who's doing a website? Like, it's really cool. So
Can I
awesome
tell
to
a
see.
story that might embarrass you?
Go for it, man. Go for it.
Okay, so when I started playing Raid, it was end of 2019, and that was like right when maybe you'd been making content for a month, but it was right when you were picking up a listening. But I think you had hundreds of subscribers when I found you.
Okay. Yeah.
And you and Jay Gigs were my favorites, and I'd watch you every day. And my girl, it was then COVID happened, so then it was into 2020, and you were getting bit, you were hell hadesing up or whatever. Then I was watching your videos every day, and my girlfriend and I were quarantined in my apartment for 2 months, and I was just watching videos every day, and I'd catch her just walking around the apartment and doing impressions of, "Hey guys, it's hell hades," because that's how often I was watching your videos. So to this day, she'll occasionally still pull out her terrible hell hades impressions. So thank you for that.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Well, yeah. Again, for those who don't know you, just give a bit of a breakdown of what do you do in Watcher of Realms on your channel. What's your vibe?
Yeah, so I did content creation as a hobby. I guess maybe still a hobby, just now a somewhat lucrative hobby. But I did it with Raid actually in 2021, just to kind of do something. I did free to play was always my thing. I did basically a year-long free to play series. I always said my goal was to get Lydia. I did. I stopped, and then this past summer I had like a knee injury and I couldn't work. And I started a new game. So my girlfriend immediately was like, why don't you try it again with this game? And something about this game clicked with me and apparently clicked with viewers. And since that day, August 6th, I haven't taken a day off. So I do lots of takeovers. I do lots of guides. I do news. Maybe I didn't think about it this way, but maybe pretty akin to what I got used to. Maybe I think subconsciously, maybe I was emulating a master. So hopefully I'm coming even close to that.
Well, talk through the website as well. So I know that it's a project, but yeah, when I saw that you were kind of pulling it together, I thought, what a great idea. People have said to me already on this game, like, are you going to cover it on the website? And it's like, we might, but it's just how far can we stretch our resources, you know? So, yeah.
So, and let me just thank you. You made a very generous donation. So I had no idea how, you will think I'm naive, but maybe you were like me when you got started with your website. I had no idea how much a website costs. So this guy, Luke, who I partnered with, does lots of design work. He's a graphic designer by trade. He's always wanted to make a website. He liked my stuff. He came to me with a prototype. Just visuals, but a prototype. So I think a lot of content creators are like, I want to make a website, but it wasn't something I was seeking out. He came to me. I love the prototype. People can check it out if they want, or you can wait just a month when it's going to go live now because it's all happening. But basically, we were like, I was like, I can put $1,000 towards a website. He's like, oh, that's plenty. That's not plenty.
No, it's not. No.
So we did a big fundraiser right around the new year. And you actually came on. You were in the chat. You made a really generous donation, so thank you. And we raised over $10,000.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah,
brilliant.
So we officially have hired a dev. I'm actually streaming with the dev because I want him to have played the game. So we're streaming on Friday, and on Monday development begins. All the prep has already been done. So kind of how we were just talking off camera about Fateless, we've done all our pre-planning, and now it's just we need a web dev to build the website. And March 1st, it will be live. V1.
Oh wow, fantastic. Yeah. Well, as and when I guess that's going live, we'll bring you back on. We can kind of have a dive through the website and show people what you've built. So.
As long as you promise to criticize it properly, because I'd be lying if I said we haven't popped over to your website to be like, what if the menu looked like this? You know, like you did a lot of things very right. So we really thank you for that.
No, awesome. Well, I guess onto today's video.
Please.
Fastidious is basically known as the takeover king in this game. And I've got some gear aids which are not yet maxed out. So we're just kind of chatting and thought, where could I try and improve? And for me, I really wanted to improve my gear aid 1. So I'd beaten gear aid 2. Actually, if I'm completely honest, I looked at some content that you'd put out and I was like, damn, this team looks like something I could get on board with or something close to it. and yeah, kind of pulled together a team very similar to what you'd done in
Absolutely.
a video about a month ago, I think it was. So anyway, I thought, why not come on and see if I can get a bit further in Gear Aid 1. And I will say, I've beaten 19, and that was tough, actually. I thought it was a tough fight.
Yeah.
A lot of people saying, you've got Laseer, it's going to be easy. It wasn't easy. And then I've been trying to do 20, and I find I'm just getting absolutely blown up. And I'm not putting out enough DPS. So it'd be really cool to kind of get your thoughts on team comp.
Absolutely.
And and perhaps is my gearing right, or have I kind of made some mistakes on that?
Totally. Yeah. So I think this will be really fun for me as well because I've done a ton of Gear Aid 2 content, as you touched on, a ton of Gear Aid 3. I've streamed Gear Aid 1 a lot, but I don't have so many videos to point people to. So I hope this can be that because I've looked at your team. I haven't touched anything yet. I did one thing behind the scenes that I'll show you, but nothing with this team. And this is pretty darn, people can't see, but right behind you, we've got Hollow here. But this is pretty darn close to the team I ran for 20 and 21. We're going to make two quick changes, but what I will say, because I do presume you can correct me if I'm wrong, that a lot of your viewers have followed you from Raid or have at least played Raid.
Yeah, most would have done, I would have thought. Yeah.
So what I would say is, because I told you off camera, I'll tell the viewers now, I'm pretty darn sure we're about to get 120, and I'm pretty darn sure we're not about to get 121. And what I would say here is you can see we have a very meta team. Basically you want to have a main DPS, a second DPS. So we've got Comet for that. We've got Vierna for number 2. You've got an amazing Lord in Venoma. You've got an amazing Rage Regenerator healer in Hollow. You've got Laseer. You're kind of checking a lot of these boxes, right? However, what's different, the number one thing, please.
No, I was just going to jump in with 2 points, which I've noticed, right? So firstly, Laseer, I feel like doesn't do this kind of amazing job that everyone tells me Laseer is going to do. I feel like basically pointless putting him down. And I know that he's got the anti-heal in his kit. I just feel like it doesn't last long enough to make a difference.
Totally.
So it could be my bad in terms of the way I'm using him, or so
I would say
if we can, I don't know, but
we can start right there. We can actually combine the point I was about to make with this point. Gearing in this game, in my opinion, is in one way less sophisticated than Raid, but in another way much harder because you have extra instances of RNG. In Raid, you're hunting for that amazing relentless piece that you win from a tournament or something. Sorry, it's been a while since I played Raid, but with the sub, you're like, oh, I hit on my substats. The worst case is instead of a 7% attack, 7% speed, 7-point speed roll, you get a 5 or something, right, or a 4.
Yeah.
So it's like a tight little bit of variance. Here you can get a 3.5% crit rate roll or a 30% crit rate roll.
Yeah.
So because of that, I actually looked through your gear before we started this. You have some nice gear. It's just the amount of farming that actually goes into Watcher of Realms, if you're not getting lucky, can be tremendous. So that's where you're falling short in one way. I will also say there were some gear mistakes here, if I can be frank. You're very high attack speed on Laseer. However, with Laseer, for the way we're going to use him, and your Laseer's in the same situation mine was in, I'll just explain this very quickly to people. You've done what I always suggest people do, go up until skill crystals, but you missed the ult, which happened to me too.
All the ults,
So I think the reason you're finding him weak is because you're missing 5 seconds on the anti-heal. So it should be 50% stronger in terms of duration.
Right.
So yours is only 10 seconds. So because of that, we're going to load this guy up when we do our rebuild with not just this amazing attack speed you already built on him, but a nice chunk of rage regen. We're going to want at least like 60, 70% rage regen. And then with that, we will have a nice enough sequencing that whenever we see the heals coming from the boss, we can time his ult.
He's ready.
And
that is exactly what I was finding. I cover one. I probably, maybe that's it. I don't get to the second one in time.
I think that must be it. And then with some people, if you watch other people's guides, I don't know, but I'd presume they would have this maxed or at least level 3. So then you might be thinking, why isn't this working? But yours is only level 1. You don't have the 15 seconds and you don't have the minus 100, which is exactly what I had. So I know the struggle well.
Okay.
But yeah, basically, I think let's just get in here. I'm going to make 2 swaps that I'll explain, and then we can do a quick regear and try it.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
So number one thing I would suggest, we're going to run a lot of cultists. So you can't overstate how powerful lords are in this game. So you have like leaders in Raid, but lords in this game, if you've got them, you probably should use them. So we've got Aeon here. So I'm actually going to take Valkyria and Uridan out, which might seem weird to people, may seem weird to you because they're super good for this. But for the comp, we've got, because you have this real meta thing going on with Laseer and Vierna and Hollow, better we get Aeon in here as a lord to help these guys out. And we're getting a huge boost on Vierna because basically, even though she's not legendary, from her skill, whenever any enemy is under any crowd control effect. It's annoying that they say other crowd control effects, but think of anything. So like immobilize,
Anything at
stun,
all.
freeze, and of course slow, which is what we're going to be putting out. We're going to have 20% extra damage on Vierna because everything she does is AoE.
Yeah.
So she's going to go from like, I don't know how you were feeling with her, maybe a decent second DPS to like now she's going to be pretty dang good.
Yeah, and I will say, since I firstly got some more books into her, and I don't know if I've regeared her recently, but certainly I've not used her since she's been at the level she is to try this. So it might be that makes a bit of a difference as well. So I did get a couple more books into her ult.
It also will help just, in general, keeping things strong. She'll get a 10% attribute boost. And on top of that, we are going to bring in Ajax, who I will say is amazing to have. I'm going to use him strictly as a support, and he's going to help us in two ways. So he's got this ability here, Magic Res Reduction. If you could max skill this is by far the best Magic Res Reduction in the game, but you need it maxed. So then it goes to 30%, which is like unheard of. Right. The second highest is 20%.
How much is that different to Marri, just out of interest?
So what the difference it is with Marri is it's a different debuff. So in this game, debuffs can't stack if they're the same. You'll just take the stronger one. But this is so think of like in raid, like defense down versus weaken.
Yeah.
You can't place 2 defense down and have it stack, So that's why this is so cool, because it's a rare one that like only a few heroes have. So we could get it from him or Greed or something. The reason I'm going to choose him over Greed is we're going to actually, because he's unnameable, we can run. That means he's like Ditto, like from Pokemon. He can go with any Lord. Yeah. But to explain to the viewers. So we can put him here. Now, all of a sudden, he's going to the benefit of Venoma. He's going to have a much cheaper ult. And we're just going to build him like just not even for DPS, just super speedy. And we're going to get 2 benefits. This will be coming just by proximity to him, 2 tiles away. But then this guy over here, we're going to just a lot of slows. We're going to make him super fast.
Slows, right?
Just slow. And then Vierna's everything. We're going to take less damage on the wall, and then Vierna's going to pop off, and hopefully the whole comp sings. So there's the only changes. Right?
Yeah. I have struggled to get Ajax to really be like to shine, and maybe this is the reason. Like I've been thinking, go full damage. He's this really rare, legendary hero, and I just feel like he doesn't fit into my team. So I'm really interested to see what you do with him.
I'll tell you, man. If you wanted an A5 Greed, that might even be a better choice, because Ajax is cool, but like he's, especially for an account like yours where you do have some really great meta heroes, like he falls off a cliff. The damage isn't really there. They just like buffed him by allowing him to be used in all the faction trials.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And that makes him relevant. But without that, I mean, after like 119, like he's not going to top DPS for anybody, I don't think. He's solid, but yeah, he's kind of a bummer hero because he has Lord rates, but not that quality in my opinion. Who knows though? All right, so I did prepare one thing, like I said. So this is your Comet build currently, which is quite a nice Comet build, if I do say. However, we do want to have much closer to crit cap, and we want to go for a slightly more meta set. So that's why I would say 21's not going to be possible. We're not going to be able to build sets on everyone, and you really do need some of those, not just like this has a crit damage boost out above a certain HP threshold. We actually need some damage boosts, especially with some things. So I already prepared a set over here on a Siren of all people. I was like, let me find a hero I'm pretty sure he doesn't use, just so we can do a quick swap. So here's a Siren, and I built up a little curse set for you, so I hope you don't mind. You said I could get in there, so I used like 2 million gold. So now you'll see it's pretty comparable. I think you had 90% additional crit damage. Now we have 80, 79, and you had like 200 attack speed. We have 193. But the difference is we're much closer to crit cap, so we're going to be a lot more crits. We have almost the same attack, maybe 500 less. But this boost here, we're going to get 6% extra damage up to 5 stacks for every enemy in range. Whenever we're ulting with Comet, we're going to have 5 enemies in range. So it's just like a permanent 1.3x multiplier. Aside from that, this is just for stats, but I do think this should be an immediate boon. Like we lost 1k BP, but that multiplier should be really, really nice. I'll say your artifact is dead on here. And then this artifact is what we'll take for Vierna. This is like a great little second artifact. This is kind of like the baby version. And then from there, we can just gear everyone else out. So if you want to name a hero, we can start there, and then we can just get it done.
Yeah, well, maybe we just go like top to bottom then. So so Venoma, are you expecting to put her down or no?
I'm not. So like we probably will gear her very last in case because basically the way I like to do this, we can talk about Laurel next if you want. Laurel gets a lot of, this is one thing I do that's slightly unique, I think. I'm sure other people do it, but this is definitely a strategy I like to employ and figure it out myself. People love her for this, right? You know her talent probably pretty well. You pick her up or she dies, you get 50%. Everybody's rage cap bumps 50%. But this skill right here is so flipping good, and you've maxed it out. and you've got her A5. And this skill is so good. So when I do Gear Raid 1, I don't pick her up until the last minute and a half of the battle.
Interesting. I did see someone else doing something similar to this. I think it was maybe a channel called Destined.
Yeah, I wouldn't be Destined makes really good content. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he'd done that.
That's why I maxed his skills out. So I was like, actually, I'm going to try it and play with her differently. And it was really interesting what he was doing. Like,
I think
her on board and saying
she's
it's still really effective.
She's such like a decidedly like S plus hero just from the talent. People don't even think to look at her support skills.
Yeah.
But for months now, this is how I like to use her for a lot of content, particularly GR1. And then also every time we're ulting now with Vierna and with, of course, Comet, we're going to get this nice boost here, this like 8-second boost of 20% damage increase. So by leaving her down, we get that, and will only be the end. So because of that, we're not really going to have a use for someone like Venoma. However, maybe at the end we can throw her down. I do anticipate, though, the person we'll use a lot more is Aeon. So I actually haven't checked if you max skilled her, but I presume you have mats. Yeah, so I would suggest if you're okay with it, we max skill her because she can kind of be Marri later on. We'll get some slows from her during the ult, but most importantly, during her basic, she's going to have an AoE vulnerability. So as long as we max at this, we'll have 20% vulnerabilities, and that speaks to the question you asked about Ix, right? Because then now we're going to stack vulnerability with res reduction.
Two vulnerabilities together,
Essentially, like you can think of it like basically they're both vulnerabilities, but they have different names, so then we can stack them.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what it all comes down to. It's a semantic thing, but it works.
So someone like Aeon here, we need to max her up 6-star and full?
We don't. We might consider doing it, but I think especially if people want to use her on the floor longer than we are gonna. What I anticipate we're gonna do though is only use her towards the end when those aura guys are already all but handled, and she's going to go in a laurel spot that you'll see is a little further away. So I think we can actually get away with maybe give her one more promo here. I'm going to try it like this. I don't want to waste resources if we don't have to. But yeah, maybe let's just go do Vierna. We'll do DPS, then we'll do support. Yeah. So Vierna, how much do you want me to explain things? Because I know you know this, but maybe for your viewers, or what do you prefer?
Yeah, I mean, talk through the stats that you would look for and why. I think that's and potentially the sets as well. So I feel like my gearing at the moment is because I don't have brilliant gear. I tend to be looking for the right stats that I think should work with this hero more so than the sets. Or if I'm getting sets, it's because I perhaps already got two pieces that feel like
lined up well.
They fit, and then it's like I throw in something which will just kind of like do the job.
Absolutely. So what I would say with Vierna over here, what happened with Comet is I saw your gear was good enough that I was like, maybe we can get a decent curse set on him. That's worth it. So we're sacrificing a little bit stats for sets. However, I don't think we are going to have enough to continue that. Eventually, you'll graduate to a point where you're going to want your Vierna in like a curse set always, or Soulbound Arcana, or something like that. We can take a quick peek now, but basically what I'm going to do, because Vierna's basic, to explain to the viewers, does not benefit at all from any attack speed. So you don't need, you could have 0 attack speed additional or 700. It doesn't matter. We're just going to go for looking for attack bonuses or attack bonus main, crit damage bonus main, and then just hunting for other DPS stats besides attack speed and just pump that as high as we can. Okay. So that's what I would suggest. If I see something coming together, like we have an accidental, curse set or an accidental wisdom set or something like that, but I don't anticipate that to be the path we go. So basically, I'll just probably start here. I'm going to go for crit damage first because I'd love at least one crit damage main piece. And then I'm just going to go for my next two most important stats for that are going to be attack bonus crit rate. Normally, I do crit, attack speed, but like I said, we don't need that. So we can just look. You're cool if I just pull from everywhere, right?
Yeah.
So we'll snag this piece. And an interesting thing here, and this is like for the raid people, I think a classic Hell Hades thing I think of is like flat stat in the bin. But actually, flat stats, sometimes you need them. So this attack speed, like I said, is useless on Vierna, right? Yeah. So if this was flat attack, it would be better. We're not like seeking it out, but it would be better. But we'll take this piece. I really like it. And it's a wisdom set. So like maybe we'll have an accidental wisdom set. But no, not there. We'll take a little quick peek here. Hey, maybe so look at this. It's kind of shaping up that way, huh? So wisdom set's really nice because after the ult, you get a damage boost. She ults fairly frequently, and because we're going to cycle her with Laurel and Hollow, it actually could work. So now we've got 2 crit damage pieces. She doesn't have the highest space attack in the world. It's fine. But look at that. We did it. So there you go. So this is a really, really nice build for Vierna, especially for where we're at. All of a sudden, we're getting close to
How do you deal with this? Because I know this is fine to take pieces from whoever, but so that's my guild boss heroes that we're taking from right now.
Yeah, sorry.
I know it's free to swap gear, and that's lovely, but actually, it's also for me a bit of a curse because I get to a point where it's like, well, yeah, I could probably get better builds, but then you've then got to either swap it all back or you've got to fix it somehow.
Yeah.
You know, I find it quite.
So this is what I suggest.
It hurts my soul a little bit to move stuff off of people. So I'm like, man, now
Yeah.
I need to find a way back.
I really understand. This is what I suggest people do is when you reach this point of the game that you're at, you're kind of like you're in the late game, you know, on the cusp of there's a few more things you have to do. You're not pushing a new gear raid every day. You're probably not even doing it every week. So pick your moments, and then that's your moment. But it's not something where you have to keep trying every 3 days and lose your mind. Where does Setchum go? This, and this. I really suggest people just make a push once in a while. Like, so for me, the only thing, I have enough gear now that I can keep a lot of my guys geared. Eventually, what I suggest, this is just a separate tip, is like you can look for like synergistic pathways of gear. So like for example, my Artie and my Arrogance, I will switch their gear back and forth because they can both use the same set. So that'll be like a little trading route, you know, of gear.
Yeah, okay.
So a little swap paths. But for when you do something like this, when you're at the point of this, the only way you're going to min-max that content is you find the moment, which I think you're at right now, to push 120, and you got to just tear it down and
do it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Okay. But I would suggest to viewers, unless they're like a little crazy like me or some other people, don't do it all the time because it will drive you nuts.
Yeah.
So I always like to do the right side first because right side is where we kind of, if we're going to do a set, that's where the bonuses aren't stats, but they're like a damage increase or this thing happens, right? Extra rage regen or something. Whereas here it's all stats. You know, it's going to be attack speed or it's going to be, so then now we can see what we're missing and you can actually see. It's looking pretty spicy. We already have 70.5K. Yeah. I mean, this one piece we just found is nuts. This is a beautiful piece. That's definitely lock that. And we did get some accidental attack speed, but that was just something that happened. Yeah. So now we're just looking, all right.
I know attack speed doesn't help our A1. Does it help anything?
No. So attack speed, quite literally, the more attack speed you build, the more it will proportionally lower your attack interval. And attack interval only has to do with basic attacks.
Right, okay.
There are some heroes where their ultimate will juice up their basic attack. So someone like Sela 2, all her attacks are always basic attacks. It's just during the ultimate, they're like improved basic attacks. However, for like a hero like Vierna, like her ult isn't a basic attack, and then her basic attack doesn't benefit. So attack speed does zilch, you know? Okay. So yeah, now we can just kind of fill out these stats. You can see crit damage is looking perfect already. Like 300 would be the goal, and we're already over it. So now I'm definitely going to go Calamity or Warlord because I want to get an attack bonus on the left. And we'll just hunt for the last bit of crit rate and then as much attack as we can take. Crit damage would be a nice bonus on the breastplate, but you know, if we can't get it, not the end of the world.
Sure.
So we'll go here. I'll do something like this, and I can get greedy at the beginning. Let's see. What's this piece on greed? I kind of can live with it. Well, maybe we can get the crit cap. Let's see. A little bit low. I might do a quick level here, if you don't mind, and we'll see. Well, I mean, that's not too shabby. If we can get like 15% here, no. All right, alas. This is what I'm saying. This extra instance of RNG. So this kind of had perfect stats or near there, but then we don't get the rolls, so it's kind of bin worthy already.
Yeah, I've probably got a few bits which were kind of ready, waiting for a bit of a roll up. Here we go. Nice.
There you go, my friend. So this piece is
this
insane.
is what we needed.
This is what we needed. I actually could have 12'd that, but this piece is going to be a 16 piece on your account. We're good 100%. On gold. So there you go. We're only 8.5 away. So now basically what we can do, we're going to have our highest attack bonus roll that has any semblance of crit, and we're good to go. We won't take anything from, I will say, I checked your Dolores build. Beautiful. You nailed it. So very well done. We'll just snag this piece, man. 9%. That's it. We have to max it out because we want to get that flat attack main. It is significant in this game. And we're good. And I'll be honest, I'm very, very content with this Vierna build. Exactly crit capped. We're coming in at a very nice, man. 340.5. I mean, she's 340,
actually. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
So and then 13K attack. I hear attack spoken about a lot in this game. Have you got like a level? So when we're at stage 19, 20, 21, is there like a minimum that we should be hitting to overcome those kind of defense numbers?
I would say there's no easy answer. And the reason for that is everyone's Dolores is a bit different. Your Dolores is really good. So your Dolores is over 12K attack. So if you think of Dolores at 12K attack with awakenings like yours has, so even at Awaken 1, with skill ups, it's getting 60% of her attack is going everyone in range. All our main DPS are in Dolores range. That's over 7,200 additional attack they all get. So actually, I would be happy even if she was at like 12.5. I would have been happy with. But I will say for every stage, it's slightly different because the defenses are different. So unfortunately, there's no like good answer. But what I will say is Ma Bucket, who I think maybe popularized like attack to the moon, it's the best advice ever. I mean, the guy's amazing at this game, right? But specifically for like those early mid, maybe early late game players. But when you have a Dolores that looks like your Dolores, which I'm not even going to touch her. I think you did a great job. there's no reason to push that high. At that point, let's go into some crit damage,
Yeah, so
So
I don't think I've built anyone yet 2 pieces of crit damage like main
yeah,
stat, because in my head I've always been like, well, you need at least 2 attack
yeah,
percent main stat. So that's
yeah,
good to know
totally.
actually.
It kind of all does come down to that Dolores or maybe of Constance, that kind of factor. And when we're going to see where this is going to be all about like the dance of like juggling our ults and making them all occur at the same time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So what I will just
Cool.
quickly do, so we don't go on forever, I'll throw this Alistair
Is that
artifact.
a
So
terrible artifact for her?
it's not terrible, but this is a damage boost, which is great, and she does do AoE damage. But I'll just tell you point blank, attack still is king in this game. So I'd much rather get 15% increased attack than 14% increased damage. Excuse me, 31%. Sorry,
Interesting.
what am I trying to say? 31%. There you go, because that's the increase. But I'm just from testing, this is going to be a much bigger boon, and this also lets us get away with that high crit damage build.
Yeah.
So we'll take this, and I will just tell people really quickly. This is like the baby version of Tier Twilight. It's super good. So the one we have Concomitant, this is the legendary version, really good. And that's kind of the DPS sorted. That should be enough DPS. So now I can go pretty quick. I think the most important thing we do is we get a nice. I'll just show your Dolores since I don't have to change her. You did a really good job. So Invig set's awesome, and you did what I suggest people do: attack bonus main, and then hunt for flat attack. Dolores also does not benefit from attack speed. So you can just totally punt it. And literally the way I would do it is just if you can do an Invig set, that's what you should do. You go attack bonus, flat attack bonus. Here you missed the flat attack, but it's fine. And then here's some more flat attack with a little rage regen. And then here you went attack bonus, flat attack. This is an awesome piece. And then here you got attack bonus, and then you max it out for a good flat attack. And it comes in at a really nice 12.1. So we're going to get a really huge contribution. Runner and a Keen Wisdom maxed out. You already did that. That's awesome. All that's left, I think we'll have to do a bit of a thinking build on Hollow because we need her really fast. Because when you have Hollow A1 to get the big benefit from her rage regen, she has huge rage regen from her ult. During her ult, she's giving every X amount of time she's giving rage regen, but also every time she heals anyone at any point, they're just going to get a 1% boost, regardless of how strong the heal is. So it's more about the frequency of the heal. So we need to find this balance with your gear of giving Hollow the best possible build in terms of healing, but I want her at like something like this, actually. I want her at like a 1.5 second interval. So just to assess, this is pretty good, but we're way too light on attack, right? Because she's an attack-based healer. So I'm probably just going
to... Again, I followed someone else's advice on this, actually. Someone, maybe it's the same guy, maybe it was Destined again, was basically saying, like, if you do... This was more for Guild Boss, in fairness. It was like, if you do small heals, then you're going to heal more frequently, but not for a lot, and therefore you're kind of topping up rage really quick.
So that's great for Guild Boss, and I suggest a similar thing. I still would probably go a little higher on the attack, because in Guild Boss you don't need as much constant steady healing. But here you need some real healing. So another great shout out for Destin. That's awesome advice. But for this specifically, you're going to need much meteor heals. Okay. So right now, just to show what I'm doing, I'm going for attack bonus mains while searching for heal effect and attack speed. This is a good piece. I don't care about sets. And then I'm actually going to go attack speed on the amulet, which I suggest everyone always does on Hollow. And then ideally, let's get some attack bonus and heal effect. And looks like we snagged one. I don't love the substats. I might roll something really quickly. Okay, amazing. So this is way better. And we got Rage Regen, which is the next stat we really would love. I will say, Hollow, you've got her A5. And at A5, it's weird with this game the way they choose to say things, but the efficiency of her rage regeneration improves, which is different than rage. It's just weird, but we don't need to build too much because she's just going to ramp up and ramp up and ramp up. But this piece is great. You can see we can take a peek at the build. We're already at 11.3, so that's already pretty darn nice. I do want it higher. There's basically a soft cap at 100 heal effect. So even if we get to like 70, 80 range, I'll be happy. But you can see the attack speed looks awesome. So basically what we can go here, ideally I'd like to use a Calamity set or Warlord, not a whirlwind set. I'd rather get more attack than more attack speed and get attack speed here. So I'm going to go here and see if you got anything. Looks like maybe you do. And we can take this. I'm very happy to take this. So we get 54 there. That should do it. And that's my 1.5 second interval. So we got that done. And now here we can ditch the attack speed.
That means you don't need speed at all anymore? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you can't get it from the breastplate unless it's an ancient piece to begin with. So it's kind of fine. Yeah, and then this is only 7 heal effect, but honestly, that'll bring us to 75. Then we get the set bonus. We get 11% attack bonus. All in all, pretty solid, I would say. I think this should, for 121, we might be a little dicey on her heals. But here, 14.4, 1.5 second interval, 75. To me, that looks really nice. And we even got 7.5% rage regen. The only other thing that matters is, you got Euphoric Orb, which is exactly what I suggest. Give herself a little attack speed and your DPS, your Dolores, not Dolores, but your Laurel. It will help a lot.
Right, so we come back in. We have redid all of the heroes. I just quickly flicked through some of the different builds
totally.
and what were the main stats you were looking for when you were kind of doing some of the redids.
Awesome. We can just go down the line, I guess. Laurel, we just
Yeah.
want her in Invig set. We want her with any semblance of speed and rage regen, and we want her to not die. That's all
Yeah,
we were going
cool.
for. We actually did 6-star her for the convenience of time. But you can totally get away with, if you want to invest better in gear a bit with 5-star, just so people know. But yeah, we're just looking for some HP bonus with rage regen, then attack speed and then any semblance of rage regen and HP. You can see it's more just shooting for an Invig set, because the way it's going to work now, where Invig set can't fail to land on people, just go to the next. Because of Laurel and Dolores having it, we can guarantee Vierna and Comet get it, which is a big boost. 10% post deployment.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's post deployment, right? So like Vierna with 14K, now we're talking an extra 1400. Like that's really something.
Yeah.
So there's the stats if people want to pause it. And we did for her go. Actually, no, we should actually take a little peek there. It doesn't really matter what we have her in. If we had another Nightmare Samsara, that'd be great. What we can do is put this on. She doesn't put out slows, but other people will. So maybe we'll get a tiny benefit, but nothing matters too much here. Or actually, you know what we can do? You can never get too many slows. We'll throw this on her so she'll have a chance to put out some slows on other people. Why not? I don't love this artifact, but when in Rome. Next up, Iax. This is probably the most nuanced build of the ones we did off camera. We're going super high attack speed, super touch of Radiant. Doesn't matter since we're running him with Venoma, so we'll have a cheaper ult to begin with. And then whatever extra, so attack speed first and foremost, making sure he doesn't instantly die, so at least 20k HP. And then just from some attack stats, nothing else. So 14-8, really nice. He's got pretty high base attack. It's kind of in that Vierna range. I wouldn't say pretty high, but it's acceptable for an AoE mage. We got him pretty fast. We almost cut this attack interval in half. And then even got a 3 and 3/4 crit rate.
Just as like substats,
He's gonna be on the other side, not with Dolores, so the damage will be limited. But this could be the difference between him putting out 2 million damage or 6 million damage, and that could be the difference between succeeding and failing. So that's kind of what we went for. We threw a White Tower Trinket again, since he's not with Dolores. Let's give him a little extra attack. Moving right along, we kept your Dolores. I really like your Dolores. I didn't touch anything, literally nothing. Excellent. Here, Aeon, we max skilled her. We're keeping her at 5 stars. Max skilled her. We maxed out her basic. That's the most important thing, because we want to have the highest amount, or I guess her passive in conjunction with her other stuff. But we want to have those full 20% vulnerabilities. She'll only really be deployed at the end when we finally pick up Laurel. Okay. Speaking of which, almost certainly we won't deploy Venoma, but just in case, we have just quick equipped her. Nothing matters. We threw a little Spellcaster's Echo, but it's literally just for... actually, you know what? Let me just quickly do an audible. Venoma doesn't matter,
by the way.
Because of my meme, or
no. I was just saying, like, Venoma. Everyone was like, such a good hero.
Oh, I
when
love
I picked
Venoma.
her up, and like, so she doesn't seem to be in my main teams for that much stuff. Maybe in the Void Rift she plays. I use her a lot, but I'm not using her a lot elsewhere.
I think I'm hearing maybe you're a little disappointed with her.
Well, I'm not really sure where I should be, like, pulling her in and putting her on the board. Like, I get her a Lord skill. That's very cool. Her Lord skill is insanely good.
Yeah.
I use her a lot for that, but I don't use her a lot. That makes sense.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head. Like, she's there for the Lord skill. She's got like one of the best Lord skills in the game. But yeah, she's not going to touch the floor so often. But like, think about starting with an extra 30% rage.
Oh, it's insane.
All heroes in the arena is like just crazy.
I'm on board with that. I
just
felt like she's not kicking out tons of damage herself.
Yeah, I would say her damage is bad. She's really they don't have enough classes in this game, because she's like a support mage. Her damage isn't really there. However, she puts out so much curse. It goes really great. Where is the curse? Oh my god, is it her talent? It's in her talent. It can really help with Comet, right? So it's kind of, if you build her super high attack speed, it can be a little boost. But for the interest of time, and because she's not really going to matter, we can just do it like this. And then we can have Laurel over here in the other Spellcaster's Echo. So really good thing. Moving right along, Laseer. This is where you're going to see the biggest difference, I think. We pumped his rage regen way up there, 94%. There's a fairly soft cap at 100%, but I'd say at least 70%, and we'd be cruising. And then this is about as high attack speed.
Attack speed, yeah, man.
It's about as high as
600. What the hell?
Yeah. So we cut this thing from 3.5. We got it all the way down to 1.6, which is kind of nutty. He is going to be flying. There's going to be so many slows. And I will say a benefit, you have gotten this really high. So even though you missed the ult, this sand erosion is going to be crazy. This is going to last for so long, man.
Which is going to help us boost the damage through.
Exactly. He's going to be putting out slows, lasting 4.5 seconds. It's going to not just boost the damage, but it's going to take him longer to get to the wall. So we're just going to have more time and more wiggle room. And then he's going to come up with his ult way quicker. Oh, and should quickly show the artifact. Nightmare Samsara is just amazing for this. So every 5 attacks, he'll get a big rage regen boost. He's going to be flying. Vierna, we already showed. Hollow was the other kind of nuanced rework. Or did we just show Hollow? We did.
I think we showed Hollow, yeah.
We showed
High
Hollow.
attack
My
speed.
bad. It's all happening so fast. I will say your Vortex build was quite good. I only made a couple changes. This is a great set for him, Mana Spring. So basically, Rage Regen auto, for anyone that doesn't know, every second you get that much ult cost points. So this is just 3 more points per second towards your ultimate. 3 more points of rage. So this was
the big
unintentional.
change here was I didn't really know to put an attack speed piece on most healers, and it feels like that's where we've moved to with most of these. So that was quite an eye-opener for me.
For sure. I would say earlier on, it wouldn't have been the right choice, but for how your gear's getting a lot better, as you can see, like attack speed is going to be really nice here. But I will say this set was, again, like a happy accident. You already had these 2 pieces, and this was the best. It just worked out. That was the best amulet we found. And then we just went a little lower on heal effects because it's more about the big meaty heals and then the frequency of them, because he's going to be putting out shields, and he doesn't have that many people to heal. So I think we'll get away with this really nice build. Really high HP at 40k. And then for artifact, we just went with Taya's Balm. So this is if someone's like closer to death, we'll get a bigger heal, and that will be a heal effect boost as well, or healing multiplier boost. And that kind of covers it. So without further ado, what do you think?
Yeah, man, let's go in. Let's get it done.
A lot of build up. I hope we nail it. Do you want me to talk through all the placements, or what's the best way to do it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, like talk us through why you're putting people where they are.
Sure. I will say normally I'd be rushing to get it all that smooth. Because we have Venoma, everyone's first deployment.
Oh, you got ults
I got all the time in the world. So I can really explain this. We'll keep it on 1x. I always like to put my main DPS here and then number 2 right under. So the order we're going to go is Comet, then Dolores. So now you can see Dolores put the Invig buff not on herself, but also not just on herself, but also on Comet. So they're all ready, basically insta ult because of Venoma. Yeah. Now we can take a beat. We're going to get ready with Vierna, and we can throw it on 2x for a second. I'm not going to start ulting with Comet and Dolores till these guys start marching down. And then we'll get Laurel down right here. So she'll be right in this perfect square to boost everyone around her. She boosts all the squares around her with both her ultimate and then when you pick her up from from her talent. So we'll do that much later on in the battle. But also she has that other Invig set that I showed. So now you'll see we'll get a nice boost on Vierna
as
well.
She's going to boost. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, nice.
So as soon as those guys start marching, that's when I like to trigger. We can also trigger Laurel just to get ready quicker. I will hold off on Vierna though, because might as well take full advantage of once there's a full 10 guys or 13 guys if she maxes out her passive in her range, and let her get a big benefit, putting out as much damage as possible, getting the HP thresholds as low as possible, benefiting from Dolores's ult, and then we'll get that execute going. So when they're less than 35% after her hit. So we'll kind of wait.
You're looking to see when we got the execute
I just clicked it.
range or no?
I am. Yeah. I just accidentally clicked it. But I would have waited towards, I like to go when there's like only like 5 or 10% left in Dolores' ult, ideally. But you can see the damage is looking pretty nice. So hopefully we get a little cleanup crew. We do. So we took care of that honestly beautifully. We can normally, as you'll see later on, we'll hold Hollow's ult. We don't have to, because of the guys that come out with the aura that put out damage. For now, let's just get the Rage Regen coming. Yeah. But better, you can hold it for 2 reasons. Get some heals and then wait till your guys are taking damage to benefit from that A1 and get the rage boost from the heals, kind of like what you're saying Destin articulated in the guild boss strategy.
Sure.
But for this point, we just want to keep it moving. We can instantly get Laseer out here in kind of this mirror spot to Comet. And then this is like the only tricky timing part we're going to have. I'll hold off on Dolores till we can line her up with Comet, but we do want to get Vortex down right away so Laseer doesn't die.
Yes. Yeah, that's...
So these guys are ready, but we're going to wait for Vortex first. Let's put it. Now we can trigger. I'll hold off on Laurel for a minute because we want to get
the benefit.
You've
not used Laseer's ult there, even though the heal was coming in.
No, because we're going to handle these guys fairly well. And even if we don't, I'd rather be lined up here. We could have, but kind of just force the habit. I know we're going to have the damage to deal with it. But people easily could have, especially. That's something
I definitely would have. I would have been seeing the heal bar come down. I'd be like, that's what Laseer's in there for. Like, as soon as I see it.
Yeah. So quite frankly, to criticize myself, I probably should have done it because that's what most accounts would do. However, I know your damage is going to be good enough. I might as well wait. But especially with this high attack speed Rage Regen build we did, you could get away with it and still have it ready. But these guys put out way more damage on the wall. These guys kind of just tickle the wall.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's wait. Let's get a trigger here. And now we're kind of in that Vierna range. We should execute everybody. We do. Nice. Ix, this is why I don't love using him. 26 cost. We're still waiting.
Yeah, it's expensive. Yeah.
Very expensive. We can get him down though. And now I'll
And so
give a little
and he's
note.
only putting the aura on the 2 rows close to him, right? So
The 2
it's
tiles away from him, so it will be like this one, this one, this one. It's like almost like
okay.
the shape of Aylin's range, if you can imagine that.
Yeah.
So it's actually bigger than it sounds. What I will say though, just a little tip, especially for if someone has a maxed out Laseer, you could use him right about now, meaning you have the 15-second duration. If you're like me and you, I like to use him right when you hit like the word totem on the
Yeah.
bar going down. So that's like a little visual cue. Because he does take a little while to cook up his little thing.
Actually
And
cast.
get
Yeah.
Ajax going. There's no point in waiting with Ajax since he doesn't have to line up with Dolores, but we will wait for the other guys, obviously. So these are the guys that can put out some proper damage. All right, let's trigger.
So you would never use the Carmel or anything until Dolores is rocking.
Yeah, because we really want to make sure we have enough. So you can see the damage
Yeah.
looks really nice so far. I
Yeah,
am
it's
going to
good,
hold
yeah.
off and try to be patient. Now we can trigger. A little early with Hollow there, but you can see we took care of it. And this is a little visual indicator. This is already going to show you it's going to be tighter than some people might have guessed from all the work we put in. We're at about, what do you think? That is 80% left on the wall?
Around that, yeah.
After this wave, if we're in that range of like 60 to 70, we're looking good. So we're looking good, but it's not like it's at 90 or something, right?
No, sure.
Yeah. So I'm keeping Laurel down. She's, especially without Eloin, you want as much boost as you can get. We'll wait. We want to line everything up. Good, nice time to use Laurel actually to get a boost in Comet. Now we can use you. We're going to use Laseer there a little early because I want to make sure we actually have enough damage. Otherwise, people could wait, just like I said. Let's go. All right, this looks really good. And I will say a benefit to using Laseer early, if you think you can get away with it like we just did, is now he's perfectly ready for the next one.
Okay.
So now when these guys start marching, it's time for 1x. Because this is where it gets dicey. We're a little late on Hollow because I was a little early before. So I'm just going to keep, really the way this run's going to fail potentially right now is Dolores dying. So that's what I really have to keep in mind. We can trigger, but the damage is there. So it's kind of just, was I too early with Hollow? Let's wait. I'm just basically staring at Dolores right now. Nothing else matters. We can hold. I'm waiting for the bars. All right, there it is. We're a little late again on Laseer, but it's okay. Now we can trigger, and now it looks like we're going to be okay. No. Oh. All right.
Yeah. Okay, so we've come back in. Basically, we had a fail, and I know Fastidious, you've done a bit of work just to change something up. What's quite interesting here is the lineup has been adjusted by one champion, and instead of picking up another one of my big kind of like top tier legendaries, we've actually taken out a big boy legendary in Ajax and replaced it with the freebie starter epic. So talk us through this change.
Yeah, so we did a little gear swap thing I'll go over after this with Comet and Vierna, but the bigger change we did was Ajax, I say, or Ajax, whatever. This guy, Mr. Dragon Rider. I decided
he looks so cool, right?
He looks so cool. He has a lot of cool things, but I realized he's kind of doing, because we weren't doing so much damage with him since he wasn't in Dolores range, and you need such high attack for this. So without the inspiration from Dolores, it wasn't cutting it. So I was like, he's doing everything Marri's doing, except honestly, the day 3 100% free login epic is going to be better because instead of magic res reduction, she's bringing magic vulnerability, also physical vulnerability, but we just care about the magic. It's pretty comparable. However, she's bringing slows just like him, but better uptime on the slows, and we get a nice freeze. And basically what you're going to see is I use the freeze to delay those that first guys, like the white guys that come marching, that were actually putting some damage into the wall when we were talking about that 60 or 70 or 80%. I can freeze a few of them, and that kind of buys me all the time I need.
Okay, and I was just going to ask, because I've got the legendary. I saw in Mabucket's interview, there's the legendary, and the developer said people sleep on this dude.
Developer's wrong.
I'm trying to think what his name is. Shamir. Is it? Or
the developer's wrong. I mean, I love that developer. I love that interview. On my channel, we were calling him Snoopy because he had a cool Snoopy sweater. But Shamir can be really good with Awakenings. But he's still more expensive than Marri. He still doesn't bring all the extra stuff Marri does. You really need him A5 for very specific content with very good gear for him to be comparable or better.
So he couldn't be an improved Marri in this scenario.
In most places, people are going to use Marri. He's never an improved Marri, in my opinion. Mari's just better, and I think that's the biggest. A0 Shamir, just handed, I think is the worst legendary in the game. Because he's just absolutely outclassed by a free epic.
Oh, yeah. So quickly show us then, how have you geared Marri for this? Is it still attack speed?
Yeah, so it's very similar to the build we had on Laseer, kind of. So we don't care about damage at all. Like we tried to get a little damage on Ajax. Here we're just going attack speed and rage regen, nothing more to it. I will say I think you didn't fully have her basic attack skilled, or this passive, excuse me, her icicle passive. So I just made sure this was skilled, which is really easy. You had the resources, and that was it.
And she's still level 5, right? So she's
Yeah.
she's not 6-star or anything like
we
that.
have Vortex healing her with his shields. We only have her and Laseer over there. So like the Vortex, his attention isn't, split among too many heroes. This is fine. She totally works at 5, and this would work at Awaken 0. You don't need her Awaken 5. It helps.
Yeah, and with the Kame and Vierna, you literally just switched their gear between the two of them. So
nearly, I switched like the right side. I did a little tweak on Comet with the left side, but the main thing is Vierna was wearing exactly the same Wisdom set. I put it on Comet, and then Comet was wearing this Curse set. I put it on Vierna. Then I just did
crit capped Comet now. So
exactly. So this had a higher crit, and then I realized then Vierna wasn't crit capped when I did a quick switch. However, it's really easy to crit cap her because I don't care about attack speed. We ended up with some anyway, but with Vierna, it's just kind of where I should have started. I just kind of like to go to Curse because basically it's near 100% uptime from that 30%, but the Wisdom's just as nice.
Okay, sounds good.
So yeah, that's what we're looking
let's give
at.
it a run. Let's see if the changes make the difference. Okay.
I'll talk you through it to the best, but I think you will see. I think we're going to have a much better management on that wall heading into those big final waves. So everything's going to be the same.
The cost between Marri and Ajax is so different that you just get that uptime so much earlier.
That's kind of after the fail. That's kind of what in my head I was like, why am I waiting for 26 costs? We can cut it in half,
Yeah.
So it's a real headache, man. They made Ajax so expensive.
Yeah, definitely. But when I pulled him, and I pulled him so early, I pulled him in my first week, and everyone was like, "Wow, you've got like such a rare legendary," and I was like, "Damn, awesome!" Rare. Like built him out, and I'm just like, I don't feel this dude, like,
Sorry, I'm just gonna focus a bit. I'm totally
listening. You focus in. That's all good. It's all good.
You actually see it. Comet's, I think, gonna do it and basically be able to do this himself. I will probably trigger Vierna because why not? But I mean, look at that damage, a lot better.
Oh damn.
Yeah. So there, take care of that.
We'll get just crit capping really. And I know we were at like 90% before, so it wasn't like we were miles off.
We still were taking care of it before, but this is easy now. Easy mode.
So clean. Yeah.
Yeah, very clean. We can trigger Hollow. I'm gonna get Vortex down, as you had mentioned to me. You thought it'd be a good idea? No reason. We're not gonna use Laseer yet anyway, so let's just get Vortex down first.
Yeah.
We can wait. I'm going to 1 exit here because I want to time this out. Basically, I want to trigger Comet as soon as possible. So then he's done ulting, so I can ult him again as soon as possible for the next one where those guys march down. Those guys are really, everything's coming down to me wanting to deal with them.
So our only pain point here is Dolores potentially could use a bit more HP. Like she's vulnerable on the outside there with these guys.
I think left wrong with the run. I don't think she's going to die. But that's the only thing that I really think can mess up the run at this point. We're going to have to see, but...
Yeah.
You see, we're going to just hold Laseer's ult. We're going to wait for these guys. I don't know what to call these guys. The marching scaly guys, we'll call them.
Yeah.
That can be the technical term.
With the green daggers. The green dagger dudes.
The green dagger men. That's better. So you can see now we'd be 14 costs away from Ajax, right?
Yeah.
And now we're ready for Marri, and she gets her ult up, so I can get a freeze on these guys, and that's going to buy us some time. Comet and Vierna can focus on these guys, and then by the time they get to the wall, I think it should be really nice wall mitigation. So let's wait a second. We can trigger with Vierna here. We should all but take care of these guys. We do.
Oh, nice.
So we're looking really good right now. You can see they've taken off, I don't know, 4% of the wall, or just trying to eyeball that.
Yeah.
So let's let these guys march, and we're going to wait. We'll let them hammer the wall a bit. We are going to wait till these guys are here. We'll use a nice little freeze. Let's get Hollow going. Nice little freeze with Marri once these guys are close to range. But we want everything to line up. We're going to trigger here, perfect time for Marri. Trigger Laurel to help get Comet ready faster. Vierna doesn't matter since we use her a bit towards the end with Dolores.
Sure.
But look at that. See, these guys should be hammering on the wall. This is
underrated, right? Crowd control in this game, massively underrated, like in a lot of content.
Totally, man. I think it perfectly said. So now I'm really going to just try to get the timing perfect. Let's get Comet. And now you can see we're they're still barely touched the wall.
Yeah.
We don't have our attention divided at all. I can wait for when the heal thing is coming. It's looking pretty good. And here comes the heal thing. We can use it now already, and I can actually trigger with Vierna, and you're going to see. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
The wall is looking healthy as, Wow, what a difference. That's actually insane. The difference is insane.
She just, because what I was thinking is Boreas. Part of the reason, everyone's like, Boreas is the best damage. He's amazing, right? Boreas has the heal block. He's amazing. But the thing I always notice, because I run my Boreas with the amount of time he buys me to make mistakes and to maybe not have the perfect damage because people keep getting stuck and not reaching the wall. It doesn't matter how fast you kill them as long as they weren't pounding into the wall. So then I was like, yeah, Marri totally works. I would also work tremendously well.
I was about to say about I. Is that someone that you could throw in a team
so
like
for
this?
Boreas, I think I is the best partner for Boreas. I'd say it's I then Marri. I will say I think I might be too good at freezes to run without Boreas because then it might take a while for people to reach Vierna and Comet.
Okay.
That was my thing. That was my concern, but it could totally work. I mean, Ai's amazing, and she can do a lot of damage if you choose to build her that way as well. Let's trigger Laurel here so we can get everyone back up. And basically, what I'm going to try to do is take out these guys just with. Oh, let's go trigger. Come on, Hollow. Close call.
Yeah,
I'm going to try to trigger these guys. We'll get a freeze with Marri, and then I'm going to try to use Dolores now, and then hopefully I ult with Vierna. We're going to hold with Comet. I don't want to waste him on these guys. I don't really care. I want to save him for these guys. But
so we were saying yesterday that these guys basically they tickle the wall, but they do a lot of damage to you. So if you've got to choose between like using big ults on either these guys or the next group, you're almost better off holding until the next group come in if you're struggling.
With one caveat, if you completely ignore them, so you see I am going to ult with Vierna in 1 second. If you completely ignore them, then there's just more bodies there. And then Comet and Vierna and all the DPS attention is going to be spread among many units, right? So we want to at least kill some of them. If we kill all of them right now with Vierna, which I think we might, that'd be awesome. But certainly I don't need to trigger Comet and Vierna and waste it. But if we totally ignore them, we might be in a tough spot, I think.
Yeah.
I'm going to wait, keep an eye. I think we're going to get most of them if I just trigger. So I'm actually going to do that. And we did. Okay, so there's 3 left. So now what basically I'm going to do, I'm waiting for, see, Laseer's ready, Comet's ready. We're going to trigger with Laurel right away. Unfortunately, now Comet's not benefiting, but I just want Dolores to come up as fast as possible. That's kind of it. So that's pretty good. She's in the 60s. I'm going to totally leave this on 1x if you don't mind.
Yeah, no, for sure.
And basically, there's one other thing I was thinking that I wanted to tell you. We're going to use Laseer here. The next rounds, when the heal comes, we're going to use him on this heal that's coming from the boss. The next one, we're going to take an L. I'm just going to accept that it's not going to happen. I think we have enough damage because the way it's cycling with Laseer, we can't perfectly get
do it for every single thing.
If we had Elwyn, we could, but without the skill ups, without Elwyn, I think it's better. I think we can take one off. We'll have some crowd control from Marri again. Well, I think it buys us the time we need. So I'm going to wait for Dolores. She's up there at like 96. We can trigger Comet. Let's trigger Hollow. Here comes Laseer. I'm going to wait a little bit later on Laseer because I want to time it out great when as many of these guys are in this Laseer zone as possible. So we'll wait till it's like, I don't know, the word totem. We can trigger. Now we can trigger freeze with Marri. It could be pretty good. So as long as Dolores doesn't die. So Hollow's ulting. Come on, Hollow. Do your thing. Looking good. Come on, Hollow.
That freeze,
that makes me nervous. Okay, I'm going to trigger now with Vierna. Hopefully we pick someone off. Let's trigger with Laurel. And now this is kind of, you can see it's looking pretty good. We need that guy to die. There we go. So we're at 37. We've picked off some units. Dolores can't take any more damage, right? Because it's only going to be on Comet and Vierna. That's really good. And that means that's where the Hollow's heals are going, which is more rage regen for them. So we kind of made it through.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have you have A5 Hollow, but anyone with A1 Hollow. I really let me just say for your viewers, like A1 Hollow, it's just so like put a Soulstone into her for sure.
So good, yeah.
So good. Yeah. But so what I'll say here is this is where we're gonna take that L. And basically once Laurel's here, I'm gonna let everyone fill up again. And after the next round of ults from this whole squad, we pick up Laurel. And that's kind of it. And then we just hope we got it going on.
Yeah. But the wall is looking much healthier. That's for
looking
sure.
a lot. That's why I think we can take, the proverbial L.
Yeah.
So let's wait. So this is where I'm not gonna. You see, Laseer's not perfectly ready, so I'm not even gonna bother. We're gonna hold with everyone. We can trigger Hollow. Keeping an eye on Comet. Now, a lot of times people are saying they want to line up Laseer with Comet and your DPS. There's no reason to. It doesn't matter if you're hitting during the heal block or not, as long as you're hitting and then they're not healing. So I think that is a common misconception. So we are about to use Comet and Dolores here. So let's trigger Dolores, trigger Comet. Let's wait. So as soon as we're going to get Vierna done, we can pick up.
Quick question on Laseer then. So
please.
If you do your ult after that heal's already gone off, are the heals already happening and you're not heal blocking, or do you still heal block after that?
You would heal block after, but he does this thing. I don't remember who told me. Some content creator was saying like he has to cook up his anti-heal because he kind of does like this motion and there's a delay. So that's what it's really annoying. It's like, you have heroes in this game. Like I'm trying to think of a good example. Like Vierna, basically she has a delay too though. I'm trying to think of a perfect example. Some heroes though, like Maul, you click it, he does his fit, he does his big whale splash. But then you have heroes like Valeria, where she like takes a smoke break, she looks to the sky.
Yeah, she's like, I'll be there in a minute. Don't
or like
worry.
Setrum is like, oh, I saw Dolores spinning, let me try that move out, and it's like 3 seconds later, you know. So that is something that truly infuriates me. But we're looking really good on the wall, I think.
Yeah,
Let's see, we're gonna be perfectly ready with all these guys. Let's wait. I'm gonna do Vierna nice and early because I do see some people I can pick off. And
just to get the body count down.
Just to get the exactly. So let's get that going. And the second Vierna's up, maybe we'll get a little bit of Laurel's ult since it's right here. I'm keeping an eye to see when the heals come, but you can see we're only 15 left with a ton of wall. I think this is going to be good for us. That's enough out of Laurel. Pick her up, and then one thing to note, we can use Venoma, who I didn't regear, so if we really wanted min-max, I could have done like a super high attack speed build on Venoma, but Aeon and Marri are kind of redundant. We could get a little more vulnerabilities, but I'd rather just put Venoma down and just really juice up Comet with some more, let's get Hollow, with some more curses, you know, to help him with his obliteration. So here it comes, and now we can do it bright and early because everyone's in Laseer range, basically. So basically when it's about halfway, I'm already going to trigger Laseer.
Okay.
Let's wait.
This is looking
And look, we picked up Laurel. Yeah, we picked up Laurel, so now we're cooking again. And now I think it's GG. This is looking good. So we can actually go with Vierna now.
Amazing.
Pretty cool difference, right?
Yeah.
So we can actually just throw this on. And once this last guy dies, the boss can't do this by himself. With what is that, 15% left on all, 10%? The boss, he can't do that by himself. Because keep in mind, Mari's constantly putting slows on him. You know, all these little things. We're cursing him. I don't know if the curse is actually going to benefit. But yeah. There's nothing the boss can do. He can't do that much damage unless our damage was terrible, which it quite obviously isn't.
Yeah. So when we spoke originally, you said, look, 20 you think we can get, 21 probably not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think with this comp now and this strategy, 21's on the cards, or still just like Dolores is going
to? The strategy's done. It's just the gear. So imagine we had this build on Comet, but he was in the Soulbound Arcana set, right? Like, or, you know, and then if we had his attacks, I think his attack speed's at like 300. If it was at 400, you know, 300 additional, then you got it. So I'm happy to give it an attempt just so people can see. If you want to see, I'd be shocked if we got it. If we get it, I mean, we can party, but I don't think it's gonna happen. So we'll do Laurel again.
Laurel
but you can
back
see.
in, take her out. Yeah.
And that should be it.
City and that. There he goes. Awesome. Good job, man. Awesome stuff.
Thank you. For
really cool
patience.
to see. Really cool to kind of like talk through the strats as well, actually.
I think if there's one other tip, not really specifically for you, but for people, it's like they can totally copy the strat. The strat will work. I promise, as long as they have the gear. The timings are, I think they're more variable in Gear Aid 1 than any other Gear Aid to each person's account. It's like, how much is your Pantheon built up? Like, how much rage unit and attack speed do you get from there? You know, what exactly artifacts do you have? This, what, you know, how much rage unit is on your Dolores versus your, there's a lot of moving parts.
Yeah, you actually asked me about my Pantheon when we were talking before, and you know, it's something that I do every day. But I do appreciate that when I'm looking at other creators, you know, in my own videos, a lot depends on. Yeah, gearing's one thing, but actually your Pantheon brings a lot of stats, and you know, it depends how far you've kind of progressed that, and you know.
I'll tell you, man, it is the bane of my existence that they do. There's a lot of things that they just should make. Look, let me just show the stats actually before I click off, so you can see Comet doesn't matter. Boreas is God, but Comet's still an S+ hero. Like that is really something. And no one else. It's basically.
It's funny. No one else has done any damage.
I could have. I mean, I didn't put any DPS on anyone else, to be fair to them. But even if I did like the best Venoma build possible with how much he was out, we're talking like, I don't know, 5 million damage or something. 8 million damage.
Absolutely mad.
But what I will show you that drives me just bonkers is we have like that add up that they do that we can click onto 21 in case we want to check it out. But you can see you can go to here, you can go to the info button, the exclamation point. They show you everything you're getting from gear, everything you're getting from artifact, and then your collection. So how many people in those sections? Why is there no column here that says Pantheon?
Yeah, definitely.
These numbers are incomplete. So like this here with Comet 0% rage
I thought the total must include them, but it doesn't.
No, you can see it says Comet has 0%, but if we go over here, I guarantee you have at least 29% is actually what he has.
Yeah.
So
crazy.
It's
crazy they don't do that.
Yeah, so it's like, and then how are we as I mean, this is selfish, I guess, but as content creators, I want to make a guide and be like, that's my Comet build. But then I'm
they're
like,
the stats you need to get to when you include everything. That's what.
then I have to
the
show this
answer.
picture now in all my guides, and it's like now people are doing arithmetic in their head. I mean, how fun is that? Not at all. So
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
that's what we're cooking with. Do you want me to show you 21 to see?
Let's have a quick pop at 21. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But I mean, either way, I mean, would you say so? I thought get to 19, I can now start to farm the new gear sets. Is there quite a big jump? I know you're quite good on stats and stuff. Is there quite a big jump between gear quality from 19 to 20 to make that?
I would
really
say this comp is this is a 21 comp. You have the comp. Like this exact team will work. You don't need element this or this because you have Noma. You're going to do some really cool things. I will say the gear you have, we can show it now. I don't think it's going to cut it. I actually was just talking with Terran, who's the guy who's done like some of the combing and the decompiling of the data file. I just interviewed him, so that will come out really soon. And we actually looked at 121 because I knew I was coming on with you, and it's like 4,000 more magic resistance that these guys have. And think about that. That's so it's basically 4,000 more attack you need to clear. So we'll clear the attack threshold with what we've built here, but we're not gonna do some big boy damage.
Through them. No, okay.
However,
and
a way
in terms
you
of
could,
the
sure.
Yeah, sorry. I was going to say in terms of the actual gear drops from like 19 to 20 to 21.
Good question.
Do you see like significant improvements?
So I have that data too. I've only released it on Ancients, but I'm making everything public next week because I feel like everyone should have this information. But I will say for Geared 1 specifically, the bigger jump is 19 to 20.
It is.
So this will be, but I mean, you know this from Raid. You could think of it as like, this is towards the end of my time with Raid when they added 21 through 25. But you can imagine it's like, is it better to farm 23 than 21? Sure. But like, is it going to change your whole life? Like, I will say the difference in this game is because we have that extra layer of variability in RNG, because you need the stats and they need a roll. The best way to have a great shot is to get Ancients, and you do have a marginally better chance to get Ancients at the higher levels.
Yeah.
It's marginal, but I mean, if you're going to be someone like you or me, or someone that, you know, watches these videos and probably farms a lot, it does make a difference. So people, I think a lot of times ask me and they're like, no, they want me to say, just stay at 19. There's no difference. But of course you should push the highest.
But there is,
But you will, if your left side gear could use work, if you go crazy on 20, that could even be it. Some amazing rolls, a couple ancient pieces, some attack speed on breastplates. You know, it comes down to Comet. Everyone else is good enough as they are. But if you Comet could just have basically you get one great Soulbound Arcana set and you get maybe one great ancient breastplate, and let's just take a peek at these stats. I can just give you, anecdotally from my experience. Yeah, let's say this was 17K and let's say this was 330, or let's even say it's the exact same stats, but this is 17K and it's a Soulbound Arcana set, then I think you probably got it.
Right.
So it really is that. So you want to say how long is it going to take? It could take you 2 days if you get really lucky.
Yeah.
Or it could take you a month.
Yeah. No, for sure.
But let's show it off. I'll do the exact same strat. I think we'll see an immediate difference even from this first wave.
Wave 1, yeah. And that's a good indicator, isn't it? Like we absolutely cleared wave 1 with no problems whatsoever.
And I will say those guys that come down, there's the these guys, but then there's where are they? These guys here are different, with the white face ones.
Yeah.
They have much higher defense. These guys are pretty easy to deal with. So we'll be able to know, or I guess defense, yes, but here what matters is they also have much higher magic resistance. You'll see, like, if we can just wipe them, then I'll be like, oh, maybe, I don't know, but we're not going to, I don't think.
Okay. And in terms of the order of units and stuff like that, is it the same? Is it the same fight, 20 to 21?
Exactly the same fight.
Exactly the same.
Exactly. Yeah, which is a great question, actually, because, for example, like 320 to 321, they add 2 more mobs to the right corner that bothers people so much. It actually does get harder. Here, they just pump this. Like, this is the highest stat thresholds in the game for gear rates, for sure. And it's hard because you really, unless you have Brace, you're going to need 2 DPS. So we can trigger. And we should get a nice, I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but you can see there's some 231 hits. There's some proper hits out of Comet. But, we might wipe them, but Comet's not going to wipe them by themselves. Yeah, look at this guy on the side. Let's snag that. So pretty good. We're managing it. We'll certainly give this an honest shot. I was slightly late with Vierna too, but you can see this guy's tankier for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's get Mr. Vortex down. I'm going to focus up here because who knows, maybe we're going to get a miracle run, right? So let's see. These guys I think we should handle quite nicely. These guys I'm not worried about, but these guys are where I'm thinking the whole run falls apart.
Yeah, green daggers.
Green Dagger guys. That's a much better. I always said because they used to be like these like white marching guys, but yeah, the Green Dagger men. I like it a lot better. Let's get Vierna right on time. Come on. So you can see we actually didn't pick him off this time. So we probably, to me, it always feels like a Vierna glitch, but I guess you never know. But yeah, I'll just try to exactly emulate everything, replicate everything I did last time. Let's trigger. I will say one benefit, the rage regen's a lot nicer because we're not killing people as fast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
You can actually see, look how Comet's actually coming up really quick, much quicker than last time. All right, so let's wait. I'm going to wait for like that totem because I really want as many people in the little, you can watch Laseer's animation here. It's very silly. He like cooks up his little ult. I really don't like it. So we'll see. I mean, this is already respectable, man. If you weren't even close, we wouldn't even get this far.
Yeah.
You know, like we're still eliminating enemies. I mean, you do have a great team here. You've got a really nice roster on your account. So let's see. We're going to be really patient with Vierna. It's our only shot. So it's pretty good. You can see.
Bad. Yeah, not bad.
So the difference last time, now we're at 80%. Last time we were at 85, but last time we did kill everybody.
Yeah, everyone's gone. Yeah.
And these are what I said. Like, your little Green Dagger friends, they're the bastards.
Yeah.
These guys do big.
They're just railing on that wall now,
like 18k hits over and over. Actually, we probably should use Marri now because that's gonna be our only shot. Is just to freeze these two guys in place and hope for the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, they hit proper hard. And now what we kind of have to do is I'm going to have to use Comet because I can't save him since we didn't wipe everybody. But I mean, this is, who knows, man? I mean, I'm not getting
half of them are dead. Half of them are dead already. So
we made some real progress. We made some real progress. All right, let's try it out. So I do have to use Laseer and Comet there.
So you've gone Laseer early here.
Yeah, because what I'm going to try to do is before the heals even happen, and then it'll just be stragglers. We're going to see if we can't. Hey, a little cleanup here. So see, this guy, you know, some of these guys.
Yeah. He's not the same guy from the start, is he?
So we're actually spot on with what I like to say, right? That like 65%, whatever, or 2/3. So I mean, we're there. I do think this is where this might be the start of our demise, but this is going. I'll tell you, I didn't know we were gonna get 30, but like that 35, 36 or whatever when you reach the final push. I didn't know if we'd get that, so that's pretty nice. Take it. Who knows? I'll wait till these guys are a little closer to Marri. All right, let's hit with Hollow. Come on. So here we're holding. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that elective L probably now. Actually, could we get away? Let's see. How far are you? I think we take it now because we put out so little damage already. We're going to have to take it at some point. So
yeah, we'll bump really it up around. Heal with much, are we?
And not so many people have reached the wall yet. So they are about to start ruining our day, but
yeah,
kind of keeping an eye on
Marri doing so much work to stop the damage.
Really, she is, and that's what it is. It's like just think of it as a delay, and it's like this is your main hero is the wall. So she just protects the wall basically.
Because the strat I was using beforehand was fighters the other side of the wall, so that if the wall went down and it was tight, at least I was holding the mobs back.
Good point. You know. Yeah. And looks like Vierna.
That was the only way I could do it before, before you kind of distract.
I'm just trying to. Yeah, there you go.
Seer's gone down. Yeah,
I had a feeling he might because right as Vortex was coming up too. So if we had a little more attack speed on Vortex, perhaps that honestly is a fix we could do because I'd give Laseer. I didn't even think so much about his health, but if we could easily get him to like 30k probably if that was a priority of ours. We might as well put Noma here. And here we can go for straight nukage, but our hits won't equal their heals, I don't think. Pretty good though. I mean, we're gonna. You're darn close. It's not gonna be the month like I said. A couple more pieces on Comet, maybe juice up your healers a bit, and I think it's good.
Yeah,
I think you're there.
Do you think someone like Eunomia, this week's banner?
Yeah. Oh yeah. For sure.
Like
me over here with you'd have a permanent attack speed boost on Laseer.
Yeah, and just straight swap for for Vortex. Yeah.
Eunomia is amazing. Yeah. This is a banner you could consider going for because you also have Morrigan or Demi, right?
Yeah.
So Demi would be really nice. For me, I'm going to skip it. I only have one legendary lord actually, but it's Morrigan, so I don't want to get
really?
another cultist lord. Yeah, I've done like 5,500 summons, and I don't know how many ancients and
Wow.
golds, and I only have one legendary lord. I know people with like 2,000 and 10 legendary lords that have been lucky.
That's bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's where my account. I have a lot of blessings on my account. That's like my big curse. But you can see 42 kills. I mean,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
this is the kind of thing where I might be able to hit my head against the wall and get this. Certainly not in this moment, but this is much closer than I would have guessed. So that's pretty cool to see. The comet damage was really nice. Yeah.
Well, look, man, thank you so much for, I guess, firstly, getting me through stage 20, which is awesome to see, but also just kind of like sharing some of your strats and some of your thoughts around the builds, because I think that's more important actually for viewers. It's more important to understand how are you getting to that point rather than, oh yeah, I just beat it. You know, that, for me, I think it's always valuable, and I learned a ton.
Yeah, totally.
So, yeah.
And I would just say I'd encourage people to ask your guildmates, ask people on Discord, ask you in the comments, because it's like there's never one clean answer, you know, unfortunately. Like with Raid, you have more rules, like that great, you know, kind of like bench postmarks. Get at least this much attack speed or this much right now.
Yeah.
But it's cool.
Awesome.
And I'm very happy we got it done.
Yeah, thanks for coming onto the channel. I will pin down below Fastidious's channel. I'm sure you probably already know him, but if you don't, go and subscribe to it. And also, we're doing a collab as well on his channel. So yeah, come and check that out, where we talk about really the state of the game in terms of new champions coming through and whether it's the right strategy, which I'm quite excited to kind of have a chat about. We're about to do that right now.
Absolutely.
Dude, thanks for coming on.
That's really nice to connect with you. This was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, guys, hope you enjoyed the video. We'll see you soon.